Yeah, so Rachel and Jake, I think you're bringing up something really important with respect to this fusion of group identities. And this is something that I think is really important, and I think it's kind of pushed under the rug when we talk about mental illness, is that individual psychopathology is generally less important than group psychology and specifically collective identity for things like terrorism. I'm not making any claims that this is or isn't terrorism because I really don't have that information yet, but I think it relates more broadly to radicalism and just this kind of destabilizing pattern. And so what usually happens, and we see this time and time again throughout the 20th century, is that people lose their understanding of themselves and their connection to reality and get like almost entirely fused in this like movement. And so the movement almost takes them along like through history, and they like just get swept up on the wheel. And so like I think it's really important to understand that when, our professional organizations and when our fellow clinicians are raising critical consciousness and actively facilitating like a fusion with collective identity, that they're doing something extremely dangerous when they're doing that. And just with respect to this conversation about how to solve things and whether the free market is enough. I mean, I think what Philip and Kathleen are doing is incredibly important. I think we need counter organizations such as what they're doing so that we can have some kind of organization and alternatives for people to go to. I do think objective reality is always going to win in the end. There's only so much that you can do to create an artificial environment before it eventually collapses. So if you sort of just kind of put your trust in what that means, and in principles and courage, and understand that, regardless of how things might go in the profession, that there is an objective reality and that we can do good and maintain the profession regardless, I think that's really important.